In today's Signal Emitted, we will be talking about the new beta and about the community poll, plus some extra stuff. We will also have a creator spotlight, a game of the week, an add-on of the week, that's a new one. And of course, we'll have our tip of the week as well. Welcome to Signal Emitted. This is a weekly news show of Godot related news. I'm Voylin, and let's get started with the major topic of this week, which is the Godot 4.5 Beta 2 release. Now, this release has not too many things going on because there has been a feature freeze, so it's full of bug fixes. Now, one thing to mention though is the abstract keyword now requires an at in front of it to be used. But even though there is a feature freeze, some exceptions have been made in the beginning. One of them is SDL3. All you need to know about SDL3 is that it's the newest release of SDL, which got released in this year's January, and is basically an API that creates a way for Godot to interact with hardware such as gamepads, keyboards, joysticks, mice, and so on and so on. But there's one thing to note about this feature. This got implemented by a first-time contributor. Now, I don't know what it is with the 4.5 release, but there have been a lot of first-time contributors basically contributing quite big features. Like in the last episode as well, we talked about the thumbnailer. That got kind of postponed, but it's still coming and it's still made by a first-time contributor. And now this update might not seem too impressive when scrolling through the list, but it brings us one step closer to a stable 4.5 release with a lot of great features. 155 commits were made, and among those commits, I'm one of them. Now, my commit is very minimal, and it's not really worth mentioning. It's just some translations for the .desktop file for Linux users. So yeah, I've done much better contributions to the Godot engine. But same like the last beta release, there is kind of a big bug. It got fixed in the last couple of hours. It got fixed. But the mono release, the C# release, yeah, the release was basically beta 1 but with a 2 in executable name, but it was basically the previous release. Now, how this happens, they say that it's kind of a problem with the release system. They did fix it, and if you download the mono release for the beta 2 version, yeah, you better download it again because now at least you'll have the correct version. Yeah, so that happens. And for this week's sponsor, we have my Ko-fi page. If you want to support this channel and the development of Gozen, please go to my Ko-fi page. You don't only get weekly blog posts, but you also get access to my Ko-fi shop, which has nice things like the GD Gozen extension, which gives you video playback inside of Godot. And some other stuff, even like some Japanese studying stuff. But yeah, who knows? Maybe you like Japanese as well. And also, Ko-fi supporters appear with the name inside of each video that I make. And now, up to the creator spotlight, and this was actually kind of a nice find. Like, I've been following this channel for a bit, because shaders. Shaders can be difficult to learn, and there's not too much information on how to actually get going with them. But the creator Fencer Devlog is a channel with a lot of Godot tutorials with a focus on shaders. This is probably the best channel to watch if you want to learn about shaders in Godot. From an LCD monitor shader to a Voronoi mosaic shader. I did not even know how you would go start making something like that, but he did it. There are so many very nice and helpful shader tutorials on his channel, so really give him a watch. It really is a channel worth following in my opinion, especially if you're interested in shaders or want to make your game look more special with different types of shaders, because if you like it or not, shaders can have a very big impact on a game. They can make or break a game. Doing them correctly can really add a lot of value to your game. So subscribe to his channel if you want to see nice shader tutorials. And let's go over to some more news, because the Godot yearly community poll got released. Now, there will be a link in the description, and the form only takes around 5 to 10 minutes to complete, and it is helpful to the Godot Foundation who wants to learn more about the active Godot community who actually uses the engine. This is something they've been doing since 2020, and all the data is publicly available, and every year the number of people joining this community poll have been increasing. Going through the previous polls really tells a lot about what types of games are being worked on and by who. And I think it could be helpful for some people to know what games are getting a lot of attention, like what genre of games, which not, and maybe it can help you to create your next hit, your next game. And did you know that there is a monthly game jam called Godot Wild Jam? Last month was number 82, and from all these Godot Wild Jams that have happened, this probably has the most amount of entries, sitting at 272 entries. This month's theme was Unseen, and the winning game is quite enjoyable to play, and it's called Incognito. In this game you are challenged to copy paintings, but with invisible ink, which can be quite challenging. It starts out with a circle and a smiley, but difficulty turns up quite quickly. I really enjoy playing this game, give it a try, link in the description. And then there's one more thing that I want to show to you, and that is this beautiful looking title screen of a game which has been in development for 5 years, which surprisingly enough is being developed in Godot 3. So yeah, apparently there are still games being worked on, scheduled for release in the near future, made in Godot 3. And that's probably because some projects are just too complex and will be too time consuming to switch to Godot 4, especially if they use features that change too much between different versions. And now for Game of the Week, I present to you Progress Racer RPG. This game got released last month and is made by 2 developers. It is an idle game in which you drive a car, you upgrade your car, and the amount of kilometers you drive is your currency. This game has a lot of positive reviews, with most people having played it for over 10 hours. And when I say play, it's an idle game, so people probably put it on their second monitor, but still, an average of 10 hours from all the people who have reviewed this game. It's one guy even reviewed it for 50 hours, like played it for 50 hours. But the reviews of this game are very positive. It is made in Godot, and the best review to describe this game is probably this one. Number go up, car go vroom. And from this week there will be a new section called Add-on of the Week, or Add Some Add-ons? I think that sounds better. And in this week's episode I want to present to you GodotSteam GD extension. And as the name suggests, it kind of speaks for itself. This GD extension makes it possible to interact with Valve's Steamworks API. And the things that you get access to are achievements and stats, leaderboards, multiplayer, cloud saves, Steam Workshop integration, friend list and user information, in-game overlays and microtransactions. GodotSteam also has their own Godot editor version with GodotSteam built in. The main difference is that for the GD extension you don't need special templates for exporting your game, but you'll have extra files, the shared libraries, which you'll need to include when sharing your projects. They have a lot of documentation and some tutorials on how to use this GD extension, and it has been around since Godot version 2. GodotSteam is MIT licensed, so it's free to use, free to do whatever you want with it. And the supported platforms are Linux, Windows and macOS. Check out the link in the description. And then it's time for tip of the week. For this week's tip, it's probably one that not many people know, but did you know the grey background in your Godot projects, you can actually change that. OpenGL and Vulkan have something called a clear color. It's basically what needs to be displayed of color when there's nothing available on the screen, like no UI, no objects. That's the color that will show. To change the setting, you go into your project settings, under rendering and environment, scroll to the bottom, and there you'll have the setting. Change this to any color you want and done. And that's it for this week's Signal Emitted. Now, not too much has happened this week, but the 4.5 update, the beta 2, it does show that the release is getting very, very close. And I'm really looking forward to using abstract classes. And of course to all the other features that are included in the update. But anyway, a very big thank you to all my Ko-fi supporters. Without them, this would all not be possible. So a very big thank you. If you want to support me and this channel and the video editor that I make and the extensions that I make and all the other stuff that I do, please visit the link in the description and support me on Ko-fi. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any recommendations for add-on of the week, game of the week, any segment of this series, please say it in the comments below and let's see if it appears in next week's episode. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.